All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our afternoon session, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Today, we are welcoming Appalachian State University and Miss Jane Dowdy as an admission representative. Thank you so much for joining and taking the time. Please do attend the entire session. That way we can send you a student survey at the end. If you do have questions for Jane today, we're going to hold them until the end of her presentation. When you do have questions, feel free to send them in the live Q&A chat above at the top of the Teams live event. Just drop those questions in there, and Jane, we will read them aloud to you, and then we'll give you some time to answer. We've got until 3 o'clock, so everyone please stay tuned and stay for the whole session. And go ahead, Jane, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Blair, and thank you so much for coming today. I am Jane Dowdy. I'm an Associate Director for Transfer and Military Recruitment, and I am the Wake Tech admissions counselor. So I would work with you if you are interested in coming to Appalachian State. So I am a part of the Office of Online and Transfer Services at Appalachian. We have a whole team of 20 people dedicated to transfer students. So I'm just going to do a presentation that gives you a taste of student life. We'll talk about some admissions requirements, how to apply, and just really go over a little bit of everything. And then I'm really excited to see what kind of questions that you have, and we'll talk about those at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so if you've never been to Boone, Appalachian is located in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. It really is a beautiful location, and it attracts a lot of people who love the outdoors. So many people who come to Appalachian, besides, you know, the programs, which we'll talk about in just a minute, you know, they really love living in the mountains and all the outdoor activities. So you can ski, backpack, rock climb, fly fish. I mean, there's all kind of things to do outside. We have skiing and snowboarding as a PE, so kind of a nice perk of going to school in the mountains. And then just a lot of neat places to eat. This is downtown Boone, which is literally right beside our campus, so you can walk to it. There's so many neat places to eat, really cool little places to shop, and it's just charming. So definitely a hot spot for what, you know, students who like to just sort of meander over that way from campus. Now let's take it into the classroom a little bit. Appalachian has a little over 20,000 students. So we are on the small side of large. 27% of our students come in as transfers, so we're pushing 30%. So it's a really strong transfer environment, lots of transfer students. Almost, you know, 1 in 4 students are going to be transfers on our campus. So you're going to meet lots of transfers in your walk around campus. But, you know, even though, you know, we are larger and we have some of those larger campus opportunities that I'll touch on, check out the average classroom size. It's 28. You really get to know your professors at Appalachian and students. It's a personal academic experience, and we're really proud of that for the size campus that we are. You know, some campuses, some amazing ones, have they're dedicated to research, and you can do research at Appalachian, but that's not our focus as a university. So our professors are hired to teach. So I think it's a benefit, and I think you can see it in the employment rates. Something else that we're super proud of. 98%, or excuse me, 98% of our students are employed or in some type of grad program within 1 year of graduation. I think that's pretty amazing, and a lot of it has to do with internship opportunities. We have lots of them. It's super important to have that edge and get some experience, and we try to provide so much for you to take advantage of. So also want to just talk about some of the just facts about Appalachian that you may or may not know. We have been for 5 years on the transfer honor roll, so we're really proud of that. You get that designator if you have a seamless transfer pathway. There's only 53 colleges in the United States who are designated, and we're one of them. So, and we're also military friendly as well. So these are things that we're proud of, and we put lots of focus on. So just to touch on some points, our average transfer GPA is a 3.19, but you're going to see our minimum in just a minute. We'll talk about that, a minimum requirement for admission in terms of GPA. And then our students bring an average of 52 credits when they transfer. Our diverse transfer students are around 18%. Diversity and inclusion is a huge part of our culture, something that we're trying to improve upon at Appalachian. So there's lots of opportunities in that area for us to grow and for our students to grow with us. So lots of emphasis. And then you can see 72% of our students come from community colleges. So we have lots of community college students. All right, so there are over 150 majors at Appalachian. So there are a lot of paths, a lot of ways to explore majors. And then, you know, if you want to come to Appalachian as a transfer honor student, plenty of opportunity there too. If you, particularly if you're coming with an associate's degree, a great way to graduate with honors would be through our departments. So it does require a GPA requirement of a 3.5, and there's a study abroad component in that, but you can definitely participate in honors as a transfer student. Another really neat thing to check into is accelerated admissions for some of our graduate programs. Say if you knew you wanted to be a counselor, for instance, and you were going to major in psychology, you could consider doing an accelerated program that would shave a year off of your graduate degree. It definitely requires a lot of dedication. You do start your graduate program your senior year in college in your undergraduate program, but definitely can save you some money and time. So just touching on some neat opportunities there. All right, so besides lots of main campus programs, we do have 10 entirely online programs. I think, you know, there's a new one that's not even on here yet, and it is our Vet Tech program. But we do have these programs entirely online that you see to the right. Supply chain management is a newer one, and then the Vet Tech program is also brand new, and those are both available for fall of 2022. Supply chain management, of course, is in our business school, and that's, you know, also the same with our management program, which is really our most popular online program. So I suspect that supply chain management is going to be really popular as well. The Vet Tech program that's brand new is due to a partnership with Banfield Hospital. So they provided lots of help and assistance to get that program off the ground. So we're really excited about that too. And if you complete that program, they're the largest pet hospital in the country, and they are promising to pay vet techs at a premium rate. So just a little tidbit on that. So one of the things that we try to do is give you a lot of great tools on our website. I'm here for you, but you know, you might be looking around at night when I'm not available, and we've got so many great resources for you to see how your courses transfer. Of course, we have all of our North Carolina Community College transfer guides on our transfer website. If you know your major, that is a great tool. It really does maximize the credits that you can take at Wake Tech. I'm here for advising assistants prior to transferring. And we have a course equivalency tool. If you haven't really worked on a transfer degree, you can just use the course equivalency tool, or if you haven't maybe completed or don't plan to complete one, that tool really helps you just look up classes to see how they transfer. So check that website out. It really is something that we tried really hard to make it good for our students and to make it understandable and to have a lot of great information on there. So let's talk about the nitty-gritty, the admission requirements. So the minimum transfer requirements are 24 transferable hours of credit with a 2.25 cumulative college GPA. Now, as you saw earlier in the slides, students come to us with well over a 2.0, or excuse me, a 3.0 GPA when they tend to enroll, but our minimum is a 2.25. If you meet these requirements and you apply when we have plenty of space, you'll have a good chance of admission. It's a rolling admission, and what that means is students are admitted until the class is full. So, that being said, it's rolling, but we do have suggested dates because early is always better. So you can see that I'll just focus on summer and fall right now since we're in that time frame. But, we had a February 1st main campus deadline of February 1st, but, we're still accepting applications, and we will be for some time. App State Online. Many of the programs have similar deadlines. There are some specific deadlines. Those specific deadlines are really just for a few of the really cohort-based programs like RN to BSN. A couple of those programs that were on the slide previously have some specific requirements. But if you're coming to main campus, you're going to apply on an App State application, and it used to be through CF&C, but now you access it on our website. So you can go to admissions.appstate.edu, and it's really a fairly simple application process. There's a $65 application fee. There is a fee waiver that you can use if you are using financial aid at Wake Tech. So I will say with the fee waiver, which you can really find easily at admissions.appstate.edu, it's on the website. Even though it reads like you need the Pell Grant, you can fill out that application, and if you are using financial aid at Wake Tech, you'll be able to get the fee waiver. So I just give you that tidbit. And so you need the application fee or the waiver, and then all your college transcripts. If you have 24 transferable hours by the time you intend to come, that's just our minimum requirement for admission. And then really it's the same process for App State Online as well, except for just those specific programs that we've mentioned here, which do have some specific requirements. And then if you are coming with less than 24 hours, that's when we do fall back on those high school grades, along with looking at the minimum requirements for admission. I mean, we're going to still expect you to have a 2.25 in your Wake Tech coursework, anything you've taken, but then we'll also look at high school competitiveness as well. And this is just some first year information. I don't think I'm going to go over this. But then if somebody does have a question, if this would be for any student, and maybe I could just talk about that a little bit, the definition of a transfer and the definition of a first year student. So a transfer student is a student who has graduated from high school and attempted courses after high school. So that's a transfer student. A first year student is considered first year if they are applying while they're still in high school, regardless of the number of credits that they bring to us. So if you were an early college student and you were still in high school, and even though you're working toward an associate's degree, we're going to want you to apply as a first-year student. And that, that doesn't mean that your credits won't transfer. That's just the way we want you to apply. So, but I can definitely answer more questions on that. This kind of just gives you an overview of how that would work. It's very specific with first year. And then with transfer, it's just rolling admission. So we're admitting all throughout the year. But with first year, there are specific dates. We bundle them all up, review them, and then provide decisions. So it's just done a little bit differently. All right, I wanted to talk about Aspire Appalachian a little bit. This is our guaranteed admission program. We have just started working with Wake Tech. We're super excited about it to have Wake Tech come on board as an Aspire Appalachian community college. And I wanted to touch on just eligibility for the program. So you would need to be working on a transfer degree, an AA or an AS, or actually even any articulated agreement. So the UNC system, for instance, has an agreement to honor early childhood education. So that would be considered an agreement that would be a part of Aspire. So really, if there are any agreements on certain AAS programs, or definitely transfer degrees, the Associate in Arts or the Associate in Science, those qualify for Aspire Appalachian. So you do need 2 full semester hours remaining at Wake Tech to be able to apply. If you maybe don't quite have enough, right now as we're getting started, reach out to me, because we can check on that for you. There's some leniency right now because we are trying to get this program off the ground. The minimum GPA is a 2.25, and then you should be in progress of your ACA 122 class, or really it would need to be complete to actually apply to the program. So some of the benefits of Aspire Appalachian, of course, is just peace of mind. If you meet the requirements and you're working on your degree and you're part of the program, then you really are guaranteed admission. So you don't have to worry about it. You're not sweating those bullets. It's really going to happen for you as long as you meet the requirements. Some other neat things is with our Aspire Appalachian students, I will have individual advising meetings so that we can make sure you're on track. So we give you a lot of personalized advising and really try to help you with that piece of it. We also just bring you up for events on campus. I know you've got a little ways to go, but we're doing that all through. We're actually bringing our Aspire students to campus right now. I've got the list here. We're cheering on the Nears. That's the name of the event, and it's a basketball game. Our basketball program has done really well this year. So Aspire students can come up and be a part of that. We have trivia at one of the local taverns in town, and our transfers and our Aspire students have been invited to that. There's an urban hike in Boone. That one's really popular. It's just downtown Boone. It's actually that picture that I showed you. That's where the hike occurs. But you stop for coffee, and it's just sort of a neat little urban walk through downtown Boone just to check it out. And that's just a little taste of some of the things that we offer up for students to come in, and it really helps you start building your community. And they're just fun events. So we do things like that all the time. We have some great folks that work on our event programming for transfer students, and we do these things all the time. But if you are interested in Aspire, Blair, who introduced me at this session, is my partner in crime with Aspire Appalachian, and she actually can sign you up. But just let us know if you have any questions. We would love to work with you on this. All right. So just wouldn't be the same if we didn't talk a little bit about cost. It's definitely paying for college is stressful. We understand that. And I just wanted to touch on the cost if you're living on or off campus. So I'm not going to just talk about these numbers since they're up here, but these are, of course, prices and costs for 1 full year. So if you were living off campus as a transfer student, for instance, your main campus tuition and fees for the year would be $79.50. And that doesn't include your housing. And then you can see what it would be included with your housing cost. And then App State online tuition is a little bit different. That is if you were going full time. That program also has some part-time options too, but it just gives you a feel for what you would be looking at. One neat thing that we are super tickled to still have, and I went to Appalachian and Blair did too, but we've always had a textbook rental as part of our tuition cost. So it does save you some thousands of dollars on books. Books are expensive. You may have a paperback or two to purchase, but we now have it went electronic this past year, but you get all of your textbooks as part of the rental program. So you don't have to pay extra for it. It's included in your tuition. All right, so offsetting your cost, what can you do? Well, there are definitely some transfer scholarships that you can apply for. It's one of the reasons that we suggest that you apply by February 1st is that if you complete your admissions application by February 15, you can apply for merit-based scholarships. And that scholarship application is due March 1st. So you'll have access to the scholarship in your portal that we provide you if you have a completed application by the 15th. These are based on high academic achievement, but they're available. We have around $40,000 scholarships, $41,000 scholarships. It is competitive, but definitely something to shoot for. If you come to Appalachian, we have scholarships in almost every major once you are taking classes at App in the major. So those are a little less competitive. So those are other scholarships that you can check out as well. So just filling out your FAFSA through financial aid is super important. That always opens up October 1st. It has a priority deadline of March 1st. You really ought to get it in sooner. They've opened it up earlier now so that folks can apply early. So I would definitely encourage that you reach out and apply early. One other way that we try to build community on campus is through our transfer residence hall. This is something we've just opened this up last year. It's been super successful. So this is, and I think it's got a few reasons that it's been popular. Probably the pandemic. I think people are really hungry to build connections. So that's maybe one reason, but also it kind of has the little bit of best of both worlds. It's not right on campus, but it's within walking distance, but we have a free bus that'll take you to campus. So you feel like you're living a little off campus. It's around a lot of restaurants. It's around, it's within walking distance of Cookout, the most popular restaurant in Boone. So it also has the transfer center in it, free coffee every day down in the lobby. You can study down there, and there are transfer events going on every week. There's something fun down there all the time. So it is a great place to live and connect. The rooms are particularly large in this transfer hall. You can have, 2 beds, 2 desks, 2 dressers, and students put a sitting area in there too. I've seen sectionals going up, but so it's a really nice size room, and then you just share one bathroom with your roommate. So definitely something to consider.
Could you just state the name of that transfer hall?
Oh yes, it is. We don't even have it on here, do we? It is Mountain Laurel Hall. Mountain Laurel Hall.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. I have to get that on here. And then, of course, a lot of our transfer students still love to live off campus, and that is a definite option. So we have a fantastic website, offcampus.appstate.edu, and you can check out all the management companies listings. You can search by call, search by location, so that is a really great resource too. And then we're sort of coming to the last but not least is getting involved on campus. This is so important. One of these are transfer student mentors that you see in the picture. We have a transfer student mentor program, definitely something to consider. They really are involved in leadership on campus. They help with orientations, sometimes do tours. It's an amazing group that we love to work with in our office. But, you know, getting involved is just about the most important thing you can do. One of the mentors, I was getting ready to say, sort of coined this phrase of get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's so true. You know, you just need to take that first step. We give you so many opportunities, but you do have to take that first step and just try to get out there and meet people. Everybody's sort of in the same boat, but there are so many things to do. 80 intramural sports. You know, you can do things competitively. You can actually join intramurals that travel to other schools, or you can just play to have fun. There's a lot of different options. There's 400 clubs and organizations. There's literally something for everyone. So definitely the best way to just really enjoy your experience. And really, that's all I had for today. You know, we have so many ways to connect. I will say that we have an open house coming up on April 9th. So if you want to come in person to campus and check out campus, there'll be transfer sessions for you to join. There'll be walking tours. You can meet with departments. So that's a definite way to connect as well. So thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jane. That was such good information. Let's go ahead and hang on just a second. All right, so now we're going to put Jane up to answer any questions that you all might have. Please feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A box. It doesn't look like we have any yet, but we will start with a couple that we have.
Okay.
Just frequently asked questions from students. So Anthony, if you want to take it away, feel free.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you already mentioned this, Jane, but just for those students that came in late and for those who didn't pay attention, what is a competitive GPA to have for admissions? And what is the minimum GPA requirement?
Okay, so we look for a minimum 2.25. And that's a cumulative GPA. So if you've been to other colleges, we are going to combine it. I always tell students to shoot higher. That's not, something to shoot for necessarily, but it does help if you've had some older grades that maybe you're not as proud of and you're doing better. I mean, it gives you some flexibility. But yes, 2.25 cumulative GPA is our requirement for admission.
All right, great. And when is the best time to apply? When's the best time to apply for the fall, and when's the best time to apply for the spring?
Okay, so really 4 months out is the best time, and like I mentioned, February 1st is our suggested date for fall. We're still admitting students. It's rolling admission, but early is always better. You can apply even earlier. And then for spring, we recommend October 15. Now, our application opens up each August. So say if you were interested in 2023 applications, then you can expect that those are going to open up August 1st of 2022, and then so on. So they open each August.
right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
See, do we have any more questions on the, do we get any more questions? Nope. All right, so let me ask the next one.
Okay.
Do you recommend completing the associate's degree before transferring, or the minimum admissions requirement, which is 24 to 30 credit hours?
Okay. Well, I definitely recommend completing the associate degree. You know, it's going to complete all of your general education, and then it's going to allow you to maximize the credits that you can take at Wake Tech before you go into your major. There's a few majors at Appalachian that we recommend that you come before you complete the associates, because they're sequenced, and you have to take them at certain times, and if you get the whole associates completed, it's going to keep you at Appalachian longer. But we put that very clearly at the top of all of our transfer guides. So just check out that transfer guide and look for that just on a very select few of programs, but typically that associate's degree is an amazing way to come in.
Now, Jane, I have a follow-up with that. Sorry, Anthony. And this might be a little bit of a loaded question, and I asked the last previous schools, but if a student does not have exactly what's on the BDPs or baccalaureate degree plans, and they have a little bit of a different sequence, does that still put them at like a junior stance, or do they have to go back and take classes that were required for the major? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, if there are classes that are required for the major that are general education, you do need to take them. So, that's required for the major, so we can't substitute. So we will look at what transfers. It's possible that you could take some classes at Wake Tech that would transfer, but they might fall through. They may not fit the major requirement, because there are a lot of transferable courses out there. So it's possible a student could be a little shy of 60 hours, which 60 hours is what makes you a junior. So it's important, if you can follow the guide, to follow the guide. Just to get those required courses in. Some majors have a lot of required courses, and some have very few. And then the associates just really works just fine without, any real specifics.
All right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Anthony.
All right. Now, let's have this scenario. If I have a transcript from a different school and had a low GPA, will you honor my new GPA from the current school that I'm in, or would you just average both GPAs from the two schools?
Okay, that's a good question. So we do average. So we do a calculation, a GPA calc, based on all GPAs from all schools. And even, I know I have students who say, well, I don't plan to transfer these courses, but we do look at it, because we're trying to look at your readiness to come. And so we do look at all GPAs regardless of whether the courses transfer. The GPA calculation that we do is weighted toward whether or not, weighted toward the greater number of hours. So say if you've done lots of courses at Wake Tech, but you had like maybe a couple of classes somewhere else where you just really didn't do well, the calculation that we use weights toward the greater number of hours. And that's something that I can do for students. I do that all the time. Like, student is trying to see where their GPA is. I can do a GPA calculation for you if you give me unofficial transcripts, and we'll just take a look at it, and I can even tell you how many classes you need, and what you should make in those classes to get where you need to be. So.
All right, great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any advice to help a student's application stand out? What are the most important, what's most important to highlight the application of a student?
Okay. So at Appalachian, it really is an academic review. So we're looking at your GPA, and we're looking at the number of hours that you're bringing in. We don't really, we do have optional links for the resume and for any additional information you want to provide. If you meet our requirements for admission, that 2.25 and the 24 transferable hours before or by the time you intend to come, then it's not needed as much, but we have it on there if you've had any special circumstances. Maybe you did have a semester that you just really struggled. That's when putting that information in there could really assist, and we'll look at it holistically. Reach out to me. I want to help you with that and make sure that you're reviewed based on any additional information you have. I hope that helps.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. And last question, but not least, could you describe student activities or student life for college transfer students? Do transfers usually live on or off campus?
Okay, that's a good question. So, we talked about living on and off campus. The truth is that around 25% of our students live on campus, and about 75 of transfer students live off campus. So we, have our transfer hall that, holds 250 beds, and then students can also just live in traditional housing too on campus. But yeah, a lot of our transfer students love to live off campus. I just think they're a little bit older, used to being on their own or ready to be on their own, and like to live off campus.
Right, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, I believe I have no other questions, and I don't see any more questions on the Q&A. So I'm guessing no one has any further questions. Well,
at this time, we'll give it just a couple more minutes to see if anybody has some lingering questions. We have quite a few attendees, so we'll see if anybody has any questions coming in. Do feel free. I am Blair, the advisor for the Aspire Appalachian. I work with Jane very closely. So if you are interested in that program, which we will be promoting a little bit more, please feel free to reach out to myself as well as Jane. And do stick around. We will be sending the survey to get your feedback as an attendee, to see what we can improve on or what you enjoyed about this presentation. And you'll get a chance to win a $50 gift card. But we'll just give it just a couple minutes to see if there's any more questions for Jane, and then we will end the event.
Okay. Can I say something while we're waiting?
Jane, absolutely. Feel free.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to tell everybody, I'll be doing some maybe virtual. I know I'll do another virtual table event. I'll probably do. I'm hoping to do maybe something in person there. We're just sort of still feeling that out. I'll be doing some Aspire learning sessions. So just watch for more details about ways that you can connect with us if you're interested in learning more. I would love to work with you. So, I'm here to help, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions. That's what I'm here for. So.
Yes, and I will be posting them to our social media. Also, any student that's attending right now, if you visit our Wake Tech Advising, or I think it's advising.waketech.edu, if you go to that website and then you scroll down to our upcoming events, you'll be able to see any table visits that are virtual, or just any upcoming events. We will have Jane and other schools listed. For now, everything is virtual. Hopefully we're going to do it in person, but if you visit that website, you can attend those information sessions, and feel free to ask any questions that you want, and we will definitely help you through that process. But yeah, Jane will be here just about every month, and hopefully in person.
However you want to bring me is the way I'll be there. So yeah.
Yeah, we're working on it. And definitely don't forget, I'm Blair Turpin, an advisor at Wake Tech. So if you do have questions about Aspire and you can't get in touch with Jane, feel free to get in touch with me, and then I will put you in touch with Jane and we will go from there.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any more questions, Jane, but we are always here. Again, anyone who's attending, feel free to reach out to Wake Tech Advising as well as Jane herself. But please do keep up with the Wake Tech Extra website where our advising events are, and you will see tabling events for Appalachian State. And we highly encourage you to participate in those events so that you can get your questions answered. And at this time, we will end the live event, and we're so happy that you joined us, Jane. Thank you so much for your time.
And thank you, everyone.
Of course. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.